What if Rory McIlroy quit the PGA Tour? Not exactly quit, but what if his final chapter in golf isn't spent chasing every tournament he can play, not retirement, not television, not the Champions Tour, not the normal kind of stepping stones that most PGA Tour pros go? What if one of the greatest golfers of this generation eventually becomes one of the biggest golf creators in the world? Now, before anybody runs to the comments, no, I'm not saying Rory's about to quit professional golf and start uploading scramble videos next week or break 50 episodes. There's no evidence of that. In fact, if Rory goes out and wins another major this year, this conversation probably sounds even more ridiculous than it's about to sound. But the more I've thought about it, where golf is heading, where Rory is with his career, some of the things he said, and how much the sport has changed over the last, let's just say, 5 years, the interesting question becomes, what if he leans into YouTube? 10 years ago, nobody would have entertained this discussion. Today, it feels like something that's at least possible. Welcome to Jimmy Golfs. Today, we're going to be talking about what if Rory takes the path that Bryson DeChambeau is on. Now, the biggest reason is because golf itself is changing right in front of us in real time. And a lot of times when things change on this monumental scale, we don't see it until it's in hindsight. But it is happening right now. There was a time when professional golf and YouTube golf existed in completely different worlds. The PGA Tour was over here, YouTube creators went over there, the two sides barely interacted or acknowledged each other. Now, those lines are getting blurrier every single day. Bryson DeChambeau has become one of the most influential golf creators on the planet while still competing at the highest level. The PGA Tour, they've embraced creator events. Good has become a legitimate force in golf. Grant Horvat is pulling millions of views. There are golfers getting introduced to the sport through YouTube before they ever watch a PGA Tour broadcast. To me, that's a massive shift from where things were even 3 years ago. So if we're going to have this conversation about Rory, we have to talk about Bryson because he's the reason this topic even exists. A few years ago, if you would have told someone that one of the biggest names in golf would also become one of the biggest golf creators on YouTube, people would have laughed you out of the room. Professional golfers weren't supposed to do that. They were supposed to show up, play tournaments, do interviews, sign endorsement deals, and go home. And then Bryson came along, and well, he became a disruptor. And what's fascinating to me is that Bryson didn't become successful on YouTube because he stopped being a professional golfer. He became successful because he found a way to bring fans into his world. People got to see him practice. They saw him experiment. They saw his personality. They saw him fail. They got to watch him attempt ridiculous challenges. They got to experience parts of Bryson that television broadcast they would never, ever show. And suddenly, fans weren't just watching Bryson compete. They felt like they knew him. They felt connected to him. And the results speak for themselves. Millions of subscribers, tens of millions of views, some videos outperforming actual golf broadcasts, which is wild. And more importantly, Bryson has probably grown his fan base more through YouTube than any marketing campaign could have ever accomplished on the PGA Tour. So the question becomes, could Rory do the same thing? I think the obvious answer is yes. Actually, and you guys may think this is a hot take, I think Rory has a bigger ceiling. He's arguably the most recognizable active golfer in the world, not named Tiger Woods. He's got the major championships, he's got the personality, and I know a lot of you are probably going to argue that and say he doesn't, but I think he does. He's got the media experience, he's got relationships with virtually every important figure in professional golf. So if Rory started taking content creation seriously tomorrow, he'd instantly have access to things that most creators could only dream about. So imagine a major championship practice round filmed from Rory's perspective. Imagine behind-the-scenes footage from the Ryder Cup, or Rory and Shane Lowry spending a day golfing and talking about life on the tour, trying to break 50. Imagine course strategy videos, where Rory explains exactly what he's thinking standing on the 18th tee at Augusta. That is content that people would digest. They would devour. But here's where I think Rory and Bryson are very different. Bryson genuinely seems to enjoy creating content. He likes experimenting, challenges, talking to the camera, talking to the people. He loves interacting with the fans. He's like trying to try unusual things. His personality naturally fits into the YouTube environment. Now, whether he's attempting to break 50, playing matches against creators, hitting balls over a house for a hole-in-one, it feels authentic. I don't know if Rory is wired that way. And I don't mean that as criticism. I actually think that's the biggest obstacle to this whole idea or discussion, because being successful on YouTube, it's not just about having access or being famous. You have to want to do it. Bryce seems energized by it. Rory often sounded energized by getting away from things. Over the last several years, he's spoken openly about managing his schedule, protecting his energy, and not wanting to stay on golf's hamster wheel forever. He's talked about playing less. He just talked about it the other day at his interview at the U.S. Open. He's talked about focusing on events that matter the most. He's talked about life beyond competitive golf. So when I hear things like that, I don't immediately think future YouTube creator. I think someone that is trying to simplify his life. Now, that's why if Rory ever made a move into creator golf, and yes, he's done a few collabs and things like that, but I'm talking a Bryson DeChambeau move, I don't think it would look anything like Bryson's model. Bryson uploads constantly, thrives on volume, thrives on consistency. I think Rory would be the exact opposite. I could see Rory doing a premium series about the majors. I could see him documenting preparation for Augusta. I could even see him releasing high-end episodes showing what life actually looks like at the highest level of golf, but I have a much harder time closing my eyes and picturing Rory filming 3 challenge videos a week and chasing the YouTube algorithm. I just don't think he'd want to. And of course, that's fine. His value would be different. Bryce's content is fun. Rory's content would probably be fascinating, to be honest with you. They're not the same. One is built around entertainment. I think the other one could be built around access. The reality is that Rory has already accomplished almost everything there is to accomplish in golf. He's won majors. He's completed the career Grand Slam. He's been world #1. He's made generational wealth. So at some point, the question changes from what do I still need to achieve to what do I want to do with the next 20 years of my life? That's a completely different conversation, the one that becomes more relevant every single year. Now, what makes this more interesting to me is that Rory already seems to be building toward a future that includes media. I mean, look at TGL. Look at Tomorrow Sports. Look at the projects he's involved with outside the tournament golf scene. He clearly understands where sports entertainment's heading. He understands younger audience consume sports differently than they did 10 years ago. I think he understands that direct access is becoming more valuable than ever. That's why I really don't think the real question is whether Rory becomes a YouTuber. I think the question would be whether Rory eventually becomes a golf media brand. Yeah, maybe that means YouTube, documentaries, behind the scenes, I don't know. But to me, it feels increasingly likely that Rory's future involves more than simply showing up to tournaments and competing. And the funny thing is, if you asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have said no chance, nothing. Today, I'm not as confident. I mean, it's not because Rory's slowing down or he's struggling or anything like that. It's because Bryson proved something super, super important to me. He proved that professional golf and creator golf do not have to exist in separate worlds. They can totally coexist. A golfer can coexist in both worlds. And that's new, my friend. So personally, my opinion, I don't think Rory becomes the next Bryson DeChambeau. Their personalities are different. Their approaches to life seem different. But I absolutely think there is a world where Rory creates something uniquely his own. Maybe it's smaller, maybe it's more polished, maybe it's more exclusive. But if there's one player who could launch a golf content project tomorrow and instantly command the attention of the entire golf world, it's Rory. I think that's what makes the conversation interesting. It's not really about Rory becoming a creator. It's more about how much golf has changed. 10 years ago, the idea of the greatest players in the world becoming content creators was just pure insanity. Today, it's happening right in front of our eyes. So let me ask you guys, if Rory ever decided to seriously step into creator golf, would you watch? Do you think he could ever reach the level of success that Bryson has found on YouTube? Or is Bryson's personality simply a better fit for that world? Let me know. I read every single comment on every single video, and I'll see you guys soon. Also, give me your prediction on who wins the U.S. Open this weekend.